Mark, the Pac-12 today didn't take any action on Eddie Vanderdoes on the punch against Tyner/Fisher from the game. Were you surprised by that he's not missing any time?
I don't know. To be honest with you, I still haven't even seen it, so I don't know. We won't spend too much time on that. Yeah. Sorry.
Huh? No harm, no foul?
Well, there was a foul, but our guys did a good job in that game. There were a few times where retaliation was probably normal, and I thought our guys did a really good job keeping their cool.
Harry.
Mark, you mentioned after the Arizona game, coming back the next day with a response you wanted to see. Now, after a big win at UCLA, has it been the same kind of thing this week so far?
It's been better, which has been encouraging. Today was really hard, very physical. It was a quality practice. Yesterday we did a little bit more mental stuff, trying to get fresh mentally and physically, and it paid off today. And I thought our guys came out and were really good. Now we have to do that again tomorrow because it's a different challenge, a new challenge. But that from that standpoint of reacting kind of the same after a win or a loss has been good. We still have a million things to improve upon.
Aaron.
Statistically, Washington has been real good defensively, but the Eastern Washington game, they gave up 52 points. I think EW's quarterback had 475, 7 touchdowns. What do you make of that game? And do you take anything special away from that, considering that guy's a dual threat guy in a spread system, just like you guys have?
A little bit, but it was weird. When I kind of have a systematic way that I go back and look at games, and I started to get ready to watch that game, and I'm like, okay, here's going to be some answers. And it wasn't just like they, had a bunch of stuff or gave up a bunch of stuff other than huge plays. There were a few very impactful big plays in that game, but it's not something you can really easily recreate. There's one thing that they do great defensively is they don't give you anything. They don't, they make you earn every inch. Their tendencies are very few and far between. This will be the biggest amount of scheme that we've played to this point as far as just sheer number of fronts, games, coverages, pressures, and so it's a different challenge that way. But yeah, and then all the other games they've been outstanding.
Jay Allen.
Coach, do you remember where you were or what you were doing when the pick happened?
Well, I said, what was it, Sunday? When did we meet last? Sunday, I said I was probably throwing a pick simultaneously, but I don't recall exactly where I was. I probably should find out. I'll think about that. But
I looked it up. You guys beat, I think, Eastern Oregon on the road that day.
Oh, yeah. Did I throw a pick?
I did not.
Come on, Ryan.
I didn't find
The stats aren't online.
Yeah, right, yeah. It's not in the archives anywhere.
Can you talk about just the significance, what you know of that play and maybe how it helped kind of vault the program to where it is right now?
Well, yeah, a lot of people obviously would look at that play as, the play, the pick, kind of equivalent of really launching to the, not the BCS back then, but to the Rose Bowl and making Oregon football, the O, and everything that has resulted from that, the total commitment to facilities, to all the things that have happened here because of what has happened before us. I think it wasn't obviously that one play, but it was certainly a huge deal against a rival, in a big situation. And Kenny Wheaton's actually going to play on Saturday too. A lot of people don't know that.
Ryan Thurl.
What's the hallmark of a Chris Petersen coach team? What makes him so successful as a head coach?
I don't know what the hallmark is. They're very well coached. They've got great players. They've got great scheme, and they play hard. And so those things we know we're gonna get.
Molly.
Mark, you guys practiced in the indoor facility today. It's raining outside. How often do you practice in the rain?
Not very often. Not very often. I think our philosophy on that is we want great preparation and confidence from preparation. I think there's certain things. I think we talked after the Cal game last year. We never once ever practiced with a wet ball ever. And some people, I've done that before, and you've got a wet, heavy ball that you have, your quarterback can't handle, then everybody doesn't get down the timing, and then on game day it's 75. Or whatever. Some guys throw it great in the rain. Some guys don't. There's certain things that you can manipulate from a mechanic standpoint, but not a ton. And so we just try to prepare great and have confidence in our preparation. And Gary Campbell gets cold easily, so that's one of the other big reasons.
Tyson.
You guys had probably one of your best rushing games of the year on Saturday. I know something that Gary's talked a lot about is guys doing better in one-on-one situations and breaking those kind of ankle tackles. When you guys went back and looked at the tape, was Saturday's success more of a product of the running backs improving, or was it just the fact that the line played better overall?
I think both those things, and all those things. The receivers blocked better, the line blocked better. We were able to the quarterback was a live element, the tailback was a live element, and it was a collective effort. We made a commitment to it. Bigger in the game plan and stayed patient with it. We're successful enough with it that we could come back to it on second down, and that makes a huge difference.
Tom Ward in the back.
Back here, Mark. When you look at their front seven and their defense, Washington's, it seems like they're improved and one of the better ones in the conference. And then Shaq Thompson made a play the other day against Cal that seemed to turn that game. When you talk about plays turning games.
Yeah, I mean, their front seven, they've always been, I think, 5 of those guys are seniors. And, so it's the same guys, and they're playing extremely, extremely well. I just said on the deal, it's not normal that you have to worry about keeping a defensive guy out of the end zone, but I mean, Shaq it's been unbelievable, his knack for the ball, and collectively, whether it's a tip or a forced fumble and him being in the right place. I mean, that's not just luck. I mean, that's guys making plays and a guy that really has a incredible knack for the ball. But that all goes into their athleticism, their size. They're still physical, and athletic. And then schematically, they put them in a bunch of different looks to create confusion, maybe a misstep by the O lineman or whoever's in charge of that guy.
Molly in the back.
Mark, you talked since a week ago Thursday about tempo and rhythm, and then you seem to have really found it when you were at the Rose Bowl against UCLA. What was the big difference, and who's responsible for getting the offense up to the line and getting the next play off?
Well, how we practice, is a big part of it, and then as far as how it's going to go in the game, part of that is game plan driven. Of, hey, we are absolutely going to commit to A, B, and C, whether it's running the ball, tempo, whatever those things are. But then you have to have success at them enough in the game to sustain that, and our guys did a good job again on first down, staying out of third down. Being in first and second downs all day is the goal. That's easier said than done sometimes, or at least having the mindset that you can get that with kind of the base game, run game type of things, or the tempo throws that come off of that. But we just had our guys had a kind of a renewed commitment, I would say, in training last week, and so far the same thing this week.
Jay Allen.
Coach, how are they different scheme-wise on both sides of the ball under this new coaching staff? What they run offensively and defensively?
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, defensively, I don't want to say completely different, but significantly different. I mean, there's some carryover in the tree from where Coach Pete has been, and then Pete Kwiatkowski, the defensive coordinator, have been with Justin Wilcox, who was there before. So there's some carryover, and it's similar enough that I think their guys have been able to play really fast in the transition. That hasn't been much rust or hesitation in their play as far as translation, almost from one staff to the next. Offensively, there's elements that are very similar. A lot of the no huddle stuff that they had done before is similar, and then they also have a ton of two tights, bunch, misdirection, all the things, reverses, play action, all the stuff that they've done in the past.
Ron Mosley.
Arizona game. How do you feel like guys handled that?
It was better, it was better, not nearly, again, perfect. It's funny, we tackled better, but we still had, I think it was 24 missed tackles for 186 extra yards. And so, 186 extra yards versus 200 yards is the difference between winning and losing, but that's still not good enough. Sometimes there were other factors at play, but we played harder. And continued to play hard. Got a bunch of guys in there that have never played much, if at all, before, and played significant roles in there. Henry Mondu got his most significant playing time. Sam Camp, Danny Mattingly, those guys played a ton in other people's stead. Tony Washington ended up finishing, pretty well. Tarani Prevost had a couple big plays. Tui Talia had a couple big plays, and so just a matter of kind of shoring everything else up. But communication wise, again, those guys did a nice job of that last week, and it carried over.
Tyson.
When Keenan left on Saturday, you saw Byron kind of move more out of the backfield and into more of a receiver's role. If say Keenan happened to not play this week, would that be kind of a similar situation we see where Byron's getting more passes? Or just working more into the passing game?
Right. We'll see. I know you like that answer. We had some different things planned last week with kind of Byron and Keenan in there, and so it's a matter of this week pushing both the young receivers and the young tailbacks to kind of fit whatever the best role is going to be, and if that's a two tailback deal or Byron at tailback and another receiver, remains to be seen. After tomorrow, we'll totally tighten that down and get it projected toward the game.
Andrew.
Can you put those missed tackles numbers in context? I mean, how many would you expect in the course of a normal game? That seems like a lot, but I'm just not sure what the norm, quote unquote, is.
It's going to be. I've never seen anybody not miss double-digit tackles. If we're talking the entire game, double digits is acceptable, so to speak. We'd certainly like it on the low end of the teens. But against those guys with the how that game went, Brett Hundley breaks tackles. And that guy's he's unbelievable. And I think I told you guys last week our biggest challenge, and it turned out to be true in the game, is getting that guy in the ground. And that's not usually the case with your quarterback, or maybe it's a quarterback that's got a little bit more shake, which he has the shake and the power. But limiting, when it's 42-10, limiting the 10 is the key. They obviously could have had a touchdown on that. Was that their first drive in the second quarter when they were, it was a kind of a short pass and the guy fell down right before the goal line. If they get in the end zone there, it's a slight, it's probably a little bit different flavor to the game. But I thought our guys chased the ball well and tackled better, but not again nearly what we need going forward.
Molly in the back.
Mark, at the Pac-12 meetings in I guess July, Tyson asked you and asked Chris Petersen about your friendship and how much you talked to one another last season and how much you were going to be talking to one another this season. How has that played out? Are you guys still talking on the phone, and how's it going to play out this week?
We chat frequently. No, during the season, it's virtually impossible. I barely talk to my wife enough, and I probably need to do that more. But yeah, we haven't talked at all probably since that whole escapade. But again, a ton of respect for that guy. He's a great man, great husband, great father, great coach, and those things will be put aside this week. We don't like him very much, but no, he it's game week and they're next.
Aaron.
Chris, you say has been an important piece for you guys this year. But he lamented himself today that he had a sort of a struggled a little bit in the fourth quarter against UCLA. How do you think he's grown? How do you think he can grow from that, from being in a situation where he got beat, you guys had the game pretty much wrapped up, but he was kind of sloppy, as he admitted?
Getting through it and doing exactly what you just said. It's what do they say? If you can't admit you have a problem, you have no chance of solving it, and recognizing an issue or a shortcoming or whatever is the first step in solving it and getting through that. Just being relentless about your approach. And we had a bunch of guys. I showed the team on Monday morning of 11 guys on defense sprinting to the football, and then it was 7 guys, and then it was 4 guys, and it was 2 guys, and as that fourth quarter went on, there was just that little edge of killer instinct that we have to have that we didn't, and recognizing it, learning from it, and going forward, and realizing, hey, it's going to be okay, and competing through that the next time better is going to happen.
Anything else? Thanks.